Hey there, firearms enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic handgun cartridges, the .45 ACP. Now you might think you know everything about this legendary round. The manstopper, the flying ashtray. The round that's apparently so powerful, it'll knock a man down even if you miss. The .45 ACP is one of the most misunderstood rounds in modern shooting. From its controversial origins to its surprising military applications and the wild derivatives it spawned, this video will change how you think about this American classic. So grab your ear protection and let's get into 10 crazy things you never knew about the .45 ACP. Section 1. Controversial Origins. The story of the .45 ACP doesn't start where most people think. While everyone knows it was designed by the legendary John Moses Browning, the circumstances around its creation are far more fascinating and bloody than gun enthusiasts realize. It's 1899, and American troops are fighting Islamic insurgents in the Philippines. The standard issue .38 long Colt revolvers were proving woefully inadequate against determined Moro warriors. Reports flooded in of fighters continuing to fight despite taking multiple hits from the underpowered round. One particularly disturbing report described a Philippine guerrilla who absorbed 6.38 caliber rounds to the chest and still managed to hack an American officer to death with his bolo knife before finally succumbing to his wounds. True or exaggerated, these reports led the U.S. Army to realize they had a serious problem. The Army needed stopping power, and fast. They pulled old single-action Army revolvers in .45 Colt from storage and shipped them to the front lines. The difference was immediate and dramatic. This crisis launched one of the most consequential weapons testing programs in U.S. history, eventually leading to the 1911 pistol and its .45 ACP cartridge. But here's what most people don't know. Browning didn't initially design the round to be .45 caliber at all. His first submission to the Army trials was a .41 caliber design. It was only after the Army specifically requested a .45 caliber or larger round that Browning adapted his design. So that iconic .45 caliber bullet size? That wasn't Browning's first choice. It was the Army's insistence on big-bore stopping power that gave us the cartridge we know today. Ironically, the cartridge designed specifically to stop charging warriors in close quarters, jungle fighting would go on to become America's premier military handgun round for nearly 75 years, serving in environments its creators never imagined. Section 2. The FP45 Liberator, the Forgotten. When most shooters think of .45 ACP firearms, they picture the classic 1911, maybe a Thompson submachine gun, or modern polymer pistols. But few know about one of the strangest .45 ACP weapons ever mass-produced, the FP45 Liberator. This crude single-shot pistol looks more like a plumbing fixture than a firearm. Made almost entirely of stamped sheet metal with a smooth-bore unrifled barrel, it cost about $2.10 to produce in 1942. That's about $35 in today's money. The Liberator was designed to be airdropped by the thousands behind enemy lines in occupied Europe and Asia. The idea was breathtakingly simple. Give oppressed civilians a way to kill a lone enemy soldier, take their weapon, and join the resistance. The pistol was so crude, it came with a wooden dowel to push out spent cartridges. It had practically no accuracy beyond a few yards, and its stamped metal construction meant it was only good for a handful of shots before becoming unusable. What's truly wild is that over 1 million of these were manufactured in just 11 weeks by the guide lamp division of General Motors. The pistols were packed with 10 rounds of .45 ACP, pictorial instructions, and were meant to be disposable. But here's the craziest part. Despite manufacturing 1 million of them, almost none were ever actually distributed as intended. Most were destroyed after the war, making original Liberators extremely rare and valuable collector's items today. This bizarre chapter in .45 ACP history shows just how versatile the cartridge was considered. Reliable and powerful enough to bet the lives of resistance fighters on, yet common enough to be used in a disposable weapon. No other handgun cartridge can claim such a unique piece of wartime history. Section 3. Military use beyond the 1911. The marriage between the U.S. military and the .45 ACP goes far deeper than just the 1911 pistol. What many civilians don't realize is just how extensively the round was used in weapons most people never associate with this cartridge. During World War II and Vietnam, specialized units made extensive use of the M3 grease gun, a crude but effective submachine gun chambered in .45 ACP. Tank crews, paratroopers, and special operations forces valued its compact size and stopping power. The M3 remained in U.S. military inventories until the 1990s, meaning the .45 ACP was an active service submachine gun round for over 50 years. But that's just the beginning. During World War II, the Office of Strategic Services, predecessor to the CIA, fielded an integrally suppressed .45 ACP pistol called the High Standard HDM. These whisper quiet assassins tools remained in government inventories for decades, seeing action in Korea, Vietnam, and likely many classified operations we still don't know about. Even more surprising is the .45 ACP's ongoing role in special operations. When SEAL Team 6 raided bin Laden's compound in 2011, multiple operators carried HK-45C pistols chambered in, you guessed it, .45 ACP. Despite the military's official switch to 9mm decades earlier, America's most elite warriors still reach for the century-old cartridge when failure isn't an option. The military also developed specialized .45 ACP ammunition never available to civilians. Much of this specialized military use remains classified, but the fact that America's premier big-bore pistol round has continued to serve in shadows long after its official retirement speaks volumes about its reliability and effectiveness. Section 4. Silencer or suppressor. The quiet truth. One of the most persistent myths in Hollywood is the silenced pistol that makes nothing more than a quiet pfft sound. And almost always, these fictional super-quiet assassin guns are chambered in .45 ACP. But is there any truth to this? Surprisingly, yes, though not exactly as shown in movies. The .45 ACP has a unique characteristic that makes it exceptionally well-suited for suppressed use, far better than most modern cartridges. Here's the science. The standard .45 ACP bullet travels at around 830 feet per second, naturally subsonic. Compare that to a 9mm at 1,150 feet per second, or a .40 S&W at 1,000 feet per second. Those rounds break the sound barrier, creating a sonic crack that no suppressor can silence. Because the .45 ACP is already subsonic in its standard loading, there's no sonic crack. A quality suppressor can bring the report down to around 130 to 135 decibels, about the same as a car door slamming. That's still not movie quiet, but it's dramatically quieter than supersonic rounds. This natural advantage made the .45 ACP the preferred choice for covert operations throughout the Cold War. Special Forces units from numerous countries specifically chose suppressed .45 ACP weapons for missions where sound discipline was critical. Ammunition manufacturers even produced specialized subsonic hollow points for the .45 ACP, rounds designed specifically for maximum expansion at subsonic velocities, something that's much harder to achieve with 9mm subsonic loads. So while Hollywood exaggerates the silence, they actually got the caliber right. If you're looking for the quietest major handgun caliber without sacrificing stopping power, the .45 ACP genuinely is the king of whispers. Section 5. The myth of armor penetration. One of the most persistent myths about the .45 ACP is that its sheer power makes it effective against body armor. Gun store commando wisdom often suggests that the .45's knockdown power somehow translates to armor penetration. Let me debunk this misconception once and for all. Modern body armor is specifically designed to stop handgun rounds, and the .45 ACP is actually one of the worst mainstream calibers for armor penetration. Its large, slow-moving bullet presents an ideal scenario for soft armor to catch and deform the projectile. Level 2IA body armor. The lightest concealable vest available will stop A45 ACP cold. The round's low velocity and large surface area work against it, spreading the impact force across a larger area of the armor material. In standardized testing against identical armor, the 9mm, 357 Magnum, and even the 22 Magnum all show better penetration characteristics than the 45 ACP. The faster, smaller bullets concentrate their energy on a smaller area, giving them better chances of penetration. The FBI and military explicitly recognized this limitation decades ago. When facing potential armored threats became a concern in the 1980s, it was one of the primary reasons for moving away from the 45 ACP. Now, there are specialized armor-piercing rounds for the 45 ACP, but these are highly restricted and unavailable to civilians. The standard commercial ammunition available to the public is particularly ineffective against even basic armor. So if you're choosing a 45 ACP for personal defense or duty use, do so for its other merits, but dispel any notion that it's somehow magically effective against protective gear. The physics simply don't support the myth. Section 6. Ammo Capacity Trade-off, the real numbers. I carry a 45 because they don't make a 46. We've all heard the old saying. But the trade-off for that larger bullet diameter is capacity, and the numbers might surprise you. A standard government-size 1911 typically holds 7+1 rounds of .45 ACP. A similarly sized 9mm handgun often holds 17+1 or more. That's more than double the capacity in the same approximate size envelope. But the capacity gap isn't always as dramatic as people think. Many modern .45 ACP pistols have closed this gap considerably. The FNX 45 Tactical, for example, holds an impressive 15+1 rounds of 45 ACP, nearly matching the capacity of many standard 9mm handguns. Where the real capacity disadvantage becomes apparent is in the reload. A fully loaded .45 ACP magazine is substantially heavier and bulkier than its 9mm counterpart. In high-stress situations requiring reloads, this extra bulk can translate to precious lost seconds. Consider this. A loaded 15-round magazine of .45 ACP weighs approximately 11.5 ounces. A loaded 15-round magazine of 9mm weighs about 7.8 ounces. When carrying multiple reloads, this weight difference adds up quickly. For concealed carriers, the width difference is equally important. The wider magazine means a thicker grip, which is much harder to conceal under clothing. This is why many who choose .45 ACP for concealed carry opt for smaller single-stack magazines, which brings us right back to the capacity disadvantage. Modern pistol design has certainly narrowed the capacity gap, but physics remains undefeated. The larger case diameter of the .45 ACP means you'll almost always have fewer rounds available than with smaller cartridges in a gun of equivalent size. Section 7. The power boost few talk about. Despite being over a century old, the .45 ACP has seen significant performance improvements that many shooters aren't aware of. Modern ammunition technology has boosted this venerable cartridge far beyond what John Browning could have imagined. The original military loading from 1911 propelled a 230-grain round-nose bullet at about 830 feet per second, generating roughly 350 foot-pounds of energy. Today's premium defensive loads can push a similar weight bullet to over 950 feet per second, producing more than 460 foot-pounds, a 30% increase in energy. Even more impressive are modern plus P loadings. Federal's 185-grain plus PJHP can reach velocities of 1,140 feet per second, generating a whopping 535 foot-pounds of energy. That's rifle-like performance from a handgun cartridge designed before World War I. But raw power isn't the whole story. Modern bullet design has revolutionized the cartridge's terminal performance. Today's premium hollow points can expand to nearly twice their original diameter while maintaining ideal penetration depths of 12 to 18 inches in ballistic gelatin. This combination of controlled expansion and adequate penetration creates wound channels far more effective than anything available in Browning's day. Advanced bonding techniques also prevent core jacket separation, ensuring the bullet stays intact through barriers like heavy clothing or automotive glass. Some boutique manufacturers like Buffalo Bore and Underwood offer .45 ACP plus P loads that push energies to nearly 600 foot-pounds, entering legitimate Magnum handgun territory from a cartridge most consider moderate in power. This performance evolution means today's .45 ACP is significantly more capable than the round that earned its reputation in 2 world wars. While the case dimensions remain unchanged, what's inside that brass shell is an entirely different animal. Section 8. Heavy Recoil. Perception versus Reality. The .45 ACP has a fearsome reputation for recoil. Gun store lore is filled with tales of its brutal kick and unmanageable muzzle flip. But is this reputation actually deserved? The science might surprise you. Let's look at the numbers. A standard pressure point .45 ACP round fired from a government-size 1911 produces about 7.5 foot-pounds of recoil energy. A 9mm plus P from a lighter polymer pistol of similar size, about 7.4 foot-pounds, virtually identical. What people perceive as the .45's heavy recoil is actually a different recoil impulse. It's slower, more pushing than snapping. The .45 ACP creates a longer, more gradual push, while the 9mm delivers a sharper, quicker impulse. Experienced shooters often find the .45's recoil character easier to control for follow-up shots. The longer rolling push gives more time to manage muzzle rise compared to the quicker snap of smaller, faster rounds. Pistol design plays a huge role too. The original 1911 steel frame and straight-back recoil impulse made it one of the softest shooting .45s ever created. Modern polymer .45s often feel snappier, despite firing the exact same ammunition because their lighter frames and different operating systems translate recoil differently. Shooter perception varies wildly too. Hand size, grip strength, stance, and experience level all dramatically affect how recoil is experienced. What feels unmanageable to a new shooter might feel like a gentle push to someone with more experience. Watch competitive shooters running .45 ACP pistols at high speed, and you'll quickly see that the uncontrollable recoil reputation is largely myth. In capable hands, the .45 ACP can be fired rapidly and accurately. Further evidence that its fearsome recoil reputation is more perception than reality. Section 9. Big Bore Derivatives. The .45 Family Tree. The .45 ACP has spawned an entire family of derivative cartridges, some wildly successful, others mere footnotes in firearms history. This extended family of big bore ammunition shows just how influential the original design has been. The .45 Super, developed in the 1980s, uses the same external dimensions as the .45 ACP, but with a strengthened case and significantly higher pressures. It produces ballistics approaching the .44 Magnum from a semi-automatic platform. Even more extreme is the .460 Roland, essentially a Magnum version of the .45 ACP that requires a compensator and strengthened recoil system. It delivers true Magnum revolver performance from a modified 1911 platform. On the milder side, the .45 GAP Glock automatic pistol was Glock's attempt to create a shorter .45 cartridge that would fit in standard-sized frames. While ballistically similar to the .45 ACP, it never gained widespread acceptance and remains a niche cartridge. Perhaps most interesting are the Wildcats, non-standard cartridges created by enthusiasts. The .45 Super Magnum, .45 Winchester Magnum, and various .45 ACP Wildcat cartridges push the envelope of what's possible with the basic case design. Going back in time, the .45 ACP itself was inspired by earlier cartridges like the .45 Schofield and .45 Colt. This family lineage stretches back to black powder days, showing remarkable continuity in American big-bore preference. What's truly remarkable is how adaptable the basic .45 caliber concept has proven. From subsonic suppressible loads to full-power magnums, the fundamental design has been stretched in every conceivable direction while maintaining its essential characteristics. This extended family tree is something few other handgun cartridges can claim, a testament to the inherent versatility and enduring appeal of that fat .45 caliber bullet. Section 10. Competition Dominance, the surprising comeback. For decades, competitive shooting was dominated by 9mm and .38 super pistols. The conventional wisdom was clear. Lighter recoil meant faster follow-up shots and higher scores. But something interesting has been happening in the competition world over the last decade. In both USPSA and IPSC competitions, .45 ACP has made a remarkable comeback in the limited and open divisions. The reason? Major power factor scoring gives significantly higher points for peripheral hits with cartridges that meet the major threshold, which the .45 ACP does naturally. While 9mm still dominates production division, competitive shooters willing to manage slightly more recoil are finding the scoring advantage of .45 ACP outweighs its slightly slower split times. This has led to the .45 ACP reclaiming significant market share in the competition world. The advancements in compensator design, recoil spring technology, and overall pistol engineering have dramatically reduced the controllability gap between calibers. Modern 2011-style pistols in .45 ACP can be fired nearly as fast as their smaller caliber counterparts. Top competitors like Rob Leatham have consistently demonstrated that in skilled hands, the .45 ACP's perceived disadvantages can be overcome, while its scoring advantages remain. This has led many championship-level shooters to return to the big bore after years of 9mm dominance. The competition resurgence has also driven innovation in .45 ACP loading techniques. Competitive shooters now create carefully tailored loads that just meet the major power factor requirement while minimizing recoil, something that's much harder to achieve with smaller calibers. This competition comeback shows that the century-old cartridge still has plenty of life left, adapting to new roles and continuing to excel where many had written it off. The .45 ACP's journey from military sidearm to competition champion is a testament to its fundamental design excellence. Section 11. Pros and Cons, the final verdict. After exploring the fascinating history and characteristics of the .45 ACP, let's break down the honest pros and cons of this legendary cartridge in today's shooting landscape. Pros: terminal performance. The .45 ACP creates larger initial wound channels than smaller calibers. This isn't just theory, it's simple physics. A .45 caliber bullet makes a 45% larger hole than a 9mm before any expansion occurs. Feed reliability. The short, fat case profile and large bullet diameter make the .45 ACP inherently reliable in semi-automatic pistols. The cartridge's tapered design facilitates smooth feeding even in less than perfect conditions. Suppression. Friendly. As we covered earlier, the naturally subsonic velocity makes it ideal for suppressed applications without special ammunition. Barrier performance. The heavy bullet maintains momentum through intermediate barriers better than lighter, faster rounds that can fragment or deflect. Major power factor. In competitive shooting, it easily makes major power factor for scoring advantages. Cons. Reduced capacity. Physics can't be denied. Larger rounds mean fewer fit in a magazine of given dimensions. Grip size. Accommodating the larger cartridge typically requires a larger grip circumference, which can be problematic for shooters with smaller hands. Weight penalty. Both the firearms and ammunition are heavier than comparable smaller calibers, which matters for both carry comfort and logistics. Cost factor. Quality .45 ACP ammunition typically costs 20 to 30% more than 9mm equivalents, making practice more expensive. Ballistic limitations. The cartridge's velocity ceiling is relatively low, limiting options for specialized applications where higher velocities are advantageous. The .45 ACP is more than just a cartridge, it's a piece of American heritage. From the trenches of World War I to modern special operations, competition stages, and defensive use, few firearm designs can claim such longevity and versatility. What John Browning created over a century ago continues to evolve and adapt, finding new roles and applications that its creator could never have imagined. Whether you're a devoted fan or skeptical critic, the .45 ACP's place in firearms history is undeniable. Now we'd love to hear from you. Are you a .45 ACP devotee, or do you prefer something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more firearms history and analysis from bolt versus lever. Until next time, stay safe, shoot straight, and we'll see you on the range.